Hi, Pastor Ed here with my 5 for 5 daily devotions for Wednesday, November the 16th, 2022. We've been talking about wisdom, or started talking about wisdom. Our reading this past Sunday was from the book of First Kings, the third chapter. Um, the interesting situation where God is speaking to King David's son Solomon, who has succeeded his father as king, and basically says, "Ask what I should give you." I'm hard pressed to think of any other time that God says that in the Bible. And of course, the sky was the limit. What would Solomon ask for? Well, he said, "Give your servant an understanding mind to govern your people, able to discern between good and evil. For who can govern this, your great people?" So he asked for wisdom. He could have asked for all kinds of other things. And of course, as the passage goes, God was very impressed by that and basically said, "Well, since you didn't ask for those other things, I'm going to give them to you anyway." But the idea of wisdom was the key thing here. And Solomon is remembered in history as being extremely wise. In fact, there's a story about the Queen of Sheba coming to visit Solomon and kind of putting his wisdom to the test. She apparently brought some artificial flowers that were so perfectly formed that no human eye could detect them from real flowers. So she put them in a vase on Solomon's table in his throne room next to his flowers. And as he came in, the Queen of Sheba is reported to have said, "Solomon, you are the wisest man in the world. Tell me without touching these flowers which are real and which are artificial." Well, it said that Solomon studied the flowers for a long time and spoke nothing until finally he said, "Open the windows and let the bees come in." And so we're also reminded in that passage, the second half of that passage um, in 1 Kings 3, about the famous incident where the two women came before Solomon. Again, his reported wisdom was known far and wide. It brought him great influence and to a great degree riches as well. Um, and so again, there's the second half of the passage on Sunday was the story of the two prostitutes who each had a baby. The mother of the one child in her sleep rolled over and killed her child. You know, we still hear about such tragedies today. It's sort of interesting to think about, all those hundreds and hundreds of years ago that the same kind of thing, tragically, unfortunately, would happen from time to time. Well, this one woman who had rolled over and killed her child got up, switched her dead baby with the other woman's child. And the other woman then, of course, woke up and was horrified. Um, but after looking closely, she realized that uh, uh, this was not her child. So a big argument erupted. Imagine lawyers being retained, lawsuits filed, case finally ending up in Solomon's Supreme Court. And he listened for a few moments to the bickering and fighting, and then finally just couldn't stand it any longer. And he said, "Someone get me a sword." They brought him a sword, and everyone froze to wondering how was going to happen next. And in a sense, he says, "Bailiff, take this sword and cut the child in two and give each mother half. Share and share alike. We compromise and everybody wins a little, everybody loses a little." And the real mother, of course, cried out, "No, give him to her. I'd rather she get him than to see him die." The other woman said, "Yeah, that's right. You tell her, King. Neither one of us should get the whole thing." Well, of course, Solomon awarded the child to the woman who was willing to give up her rights so that the child might live, because she was the boy's mother. Well, people, of course, were amazed by Solomon's wisdom. He was someone to be trusted. He was someone, as Mark Eberly says, to look up to. He was worthy of service to as a just king. He had credibility with his people. So while Solomon's wisdom gave him credibility, and it brought him great notoriety as well. Um, we talk a lot about being smart and having intelligence and knowing a lot of things. we're reminded by this passage that there's something more important than just how much you know. It's knowing the right things. It's being able to discern right from wrong, good from evil. Solomon apparently had that gift, and it's one that we should all aspire to as well. Well, we'll continue talking about wisdom this week in our daily devotions tomorrow. I'll look forward to seeing you then. Take care. Bye.